Big good one here, and eventually we will. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below. Let me know what you think of all this. So I've got a bunch of videos to make. I got 2 movies to watch and review. I'm not sure if I'll get both of them out today, but one is the Netflix original, the sequel to the Netflix original, The Babysitter. That'll be up on my review channel. You can check out. I'll leave a link in the end screen below to my review channel if you want to check that out. But the other one is, I think it's a German superhero film, something like you're like one of us, or something like that. But I'll be reviewing that one too. With that said, though, I want to talk about this situation. Everybody's been talking about it, and I haven't really had the chance to talk about it yet, but I want to talk about the hypocrisy and the shills and John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, especially John Boyega. He came out and said a lot of things that a lot of Star Wars fans already knew, but I guess he's going to be given all the credibility and stuff because not only is he a famous person, but there's all that BLM stuff going on right now, and he did that whole passionate BLM speech and all that kind of stuff that really gives the media reason to support him and virtue signal hard, because it's more important to support him right now than it is to support Disney, who's making a lot of tremendous mistakes, showing the flaws and the hypocrisy and everything they do with all that Mulan stuff going on. So John Boyega said a lot of things about Disney being racist, but when fans did it, the fans were just toxic white males and all that. And so Daisy Ridley topped that off on her own with talking about there were no plans for her character. The plans for her character were actually constantly changing. That she was, at one point, she was going to be related to Obi-Wan. At another point, there was, she was going to be this or that, and then her heritage meant nothing, and then suddenly she was a Palpatine. And everybody knew that this Star Wars, they had no solid plans. They were just they were just winging it as they went along. Kathleen Kennedy is terrible leadership. There is no leadership there. It's make it up as you go, and I'll probably check over it just to make sure that we're checking those boxes, getting all that diversity and representation. It doesn't really matter if there's substance or depth to these characters. All that matters is they represent a certain thing, so we can spread our identity politics and the force is female. And we can just shame all Star Wars fans like they're toxic mouths when they have credible arguments. We can just call all the fans toxic white males and try to turn it around where we say, oh, they're just mad because now there's people of color or strong women being represented in the franchise, when there always actually has been. From Lando Calrissian, who climbed his way up from the gutter and made something of himself, and not only that, redeemed himself by becoming a hero of the rebellion after he sold out Han Solo and Princess Leia to the Empire. So there's that. Not only do you have Lando Calrissian, but you always had Princess Leia, who was this strong, feisty, independent female that, yes, was a princess, but could really handle herself. You've always had that kind of representation in Star Wars. Even in the prequel trilogies, you had Mace Windu, you had a bunch of female Jedis, you had Padme Amidala, who was courageous and put her life on the line repeatedly to be what she claims to represent. So I mean, Star Wars has always had that representation. Why they try to suddenly turn the tide and gaslight people and try to act like, oh, people are just sexist man babies. It's just a bunch of toxic, racist white males or whatever. Star Wars has always had representation of strong female characters and people of other races. Maybe not like a whole bunch of people of other races. but they've had those characters there, and they're pretty substantial. Like Mace Windu, he is one of the best Jedi in that time period. He is universally known as one of the best Jedi warriors there is. Not only is he a warrior, but he's considered wise too. Uh, so, Daisy Ridley saying it's very interesting now because now that these actors have said this, the media is like backing their play. The same media and the same shills that just pushed and pushed for media access and virtue signaled all along. But the truth is, Disney never had no plan, and Kathleen Kennedy tried to say that Palpatine was part of the plan all along. Yeah, sure, yeah. Sure he was. Sure it was all well planned and well thought out. Sure it was. This movie, and I wasn't a fan of The Force Awakens or whatever. I wasn't a fan of any of their entries into Star Wars, and I'm still baffled by how you ruin something with so much weight, something with such a large impact on culture and all that, how you virtually like just destroy it. It's still baffling today to think that Star Wars has become this thing, this this unrecognizable thing. Who would have ever thought it would have been that easy for somebody to destroy Star Wars? But they did it by introducing a bunch of characters that were meant to check a box and not really be anything but a representation. And John Boy and for all their virtue signaling and stuff, it was so transparent. Like what they did with John Boyega's character, what they did with him. They had him running around like an asshat chasing his tail for the entirety of The Last Jedi. In The Force Awakens, all these characters, they could have had some real substance. They could have really been built up towards something. And I didn't even really like their depiction in that film because Rey just seemed like this empty blank sheet waiting to be filled. And John Boyega, to me, just felt so like wishy-washy. I don't particularly remember The Force Awakens that well, but from what I do remember, it's like, okay, this dude's traumatized by what they're doing as stormtroopers. But then later, he suddenly has no problem with just attacking other stormtroopers and all that. When the loss of life and what they were doing hit him so hard, and the fact that any of these stormtroopers could be just like him, like and the way he was just like panting and drooling over Rey, who he didn't really know anything about. He was just suddenly sprung over her. Just to me, that there was never any real consistency or anything with these characters. They could have been, they could have really been built up to be something great and amazing, but they weren't. Disney never had any idea of what they were doing or where they were going. They just knew that they wanted all this representation, and they wanted J.J. Abrams to kind of ease everybody into it because he's just kind of the king of doing that type of thing. Like, it's pretty much just a copycat type thing. That makes you feel the nostalgia of Star Wars. It tries to get you on the nostalgia of Star Wars on all those points. But then they brought in Rian Johnson, who had this idea of a great movie was one that everybody either loves or hates. That it has the audience divided. People love it or people hate it. He only wanted those extreme reactions. That's the type of stuff he likes. That's the type of stuff he goes for. And ultimately, Last Jedi is what really put Star Wars off course. It was what made it unrepairable. But it's just interesting now, though, that all this stuff has happened. It's just so interesting now that all these shills, all these media sites, all these uh, YouTubers that were also shills for Disney Star Wars, all these people are backing the play of these actors. Uh, because now it's okay. Now that famous people said it, and that it's a person of color, or it's a female. Now, now it's not about sexist white male man babies that are just toxic. What they want to say. No. I mean, what John Boyega says and Daisy Ridley says are what fans were saying the whole time Disney was busy shaming them. So I just think it's incredibly interesting that so many people are showing their true colors, and much more John Boyega than Daisy Ridley. You know, he spoke out after he cashed in. So, do you really want to give the dude credibility? He's already cashed all that checks. He's already got his career boosted way the hell up from being in Star Wars. He was a nobody before then. So, Star Wars got him where he is today, a household name. He's got tons of money, and now he's speaking out against it. So is he really some kind of hero or something to support and champion? No, he's not. And Daisy Ridley, she's just like, oh, they were kind of wishy-washy with my character. They didn't really know what it was going to be. And I think it could have been interesting if she was related to Obi-Wan, but I don't think that would have worked out so well either. That would have raised a lot of other questions. I bet it could have been interesting because then they would have had some real reason to do this Obi-Wan miniseries that they've been wanting to do and talking about. It could have showed how this came about. Because the Jedi are done. At that point, Obi-Wan probably, I could definitely see him hooking up with somebody, but it would raise all kinds of questions about like Qui-Gon Jinn and the whole Anakin thing, and how much Qui-Gon Jinn would know about what, because the prophecy of the Chosen One and all that, the person that's supposed to bring balance to the Force, and the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn's the one who insisted Anakin be trained and all that. So there's a lot of stuff there that could potentially be inconsistent, but there's also a lot of intrigue and stuff there if they would have went that route, even though I don't think it would have exactly worked. Disney Star Wars just, they had to disrespect and dismiss everything George Lucas had established, this entire universe where they cross-reference things and stuff in the books and comics and stuff to try to make sure there's like this main consistent continuity. Disney Star Wars just wanted to throw all that out and make it their own. And just spin lies and lies and lies. And Disney is one of the most immoral, corrupt companies, and they're really starting to show their true colors. It's getting harder for them to not hide, because the things they're doing with Mulan and China, and then the things they're doing over here, and the fact that they reduced John Boyega in the poster because the Chinese government or whatever doesn't view black people that fondly, or some nonsense like that, which is just ridiculous. So you want to talk about, racism, there needs to be real change and all that. Yeah, probably in Hollywood there needs to be real change, because these companies and stuff sound like the real racists. I don't really even think it's actually about racism. It's just about them trying to get as much money as they can. So they virtue signal all over here to be like angels, and then over there they behave completely different, all in the name of getting that sweet, sweet money. Anyways, that's the video there. Let me know what you think about it. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all this, and how you would have felt about Daisy Ridley, Rey actually being a Kenobi. Let me know how you would have felt about that, and how you think they would have handled that with Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries that they're still planning to do. But also, what do you think about all these shills flip-flopping and suddenly supporting John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, and calling out Star Wars? Now that it's the cool thing to do, now that some famous person did it, or some person that is a representation of a particular thing did it. Anyways, stay awesome, rock on, and don't forget to check out the link at the end screen for my review channel, where I'll have reviews up of The Babysitter and that other movie that I can't even remember the name of at the moment. But The Babysitter sequel, I'm going to be trying to get that review done today, and a couple more videos coming up. So stay awesome, rock on.